What a week. What a week of Serie A. The Serie A poker battle has come to an end. And I feel like this week, every single club in the Serie A has been sat on the poker table and their poker faces have been exposed because they're all sat looking in one direction in one corner. They're looking at one man and one man only. Antonio Conte, your next move will indicate what I do next. If you leave, Napoli are getting Allegri. If that happens, Milan don't get Allegri. They probably go and change Vincenzo Italiano, who's just signed a new deal with Bologna. The one thing that we do know, Allegri to Milan, confirmed. Antonio Conte staying at Napoli and potentially building the Napoli Galacticos, which is the word on the street, is confirmed. Vincenzo Italiano is staying at Bologna, confirmed. Gasperini is leaving Atalanta, confirmed. Roma, 75% of the deal is done with Gasperini, confirmed. Juventus, not getting Antonio Conte, confirmed. What's next? We don't know. I feel like Juventus went into the summer with all of their eggs in one basket. They were adamant, they were certain. Conte is coming back to Juventus. It's a guarantee. There's no guarantees in life. He's turned around, negotiated a deal with De Laurentiis, and he is staying. And Juventus are now in this predicament. They don't know what to do next. Like the fact that they've entered the picture when Roma have been chatting to Gasperini probably since before the season even ended, it should tell you everything about Juventus. I feel like they haven't planned it out. They went into the summer, Conte is the number one target. We are getting Conte. That's not the case. And now they're scrambling. And I genuinely feel like if any other club had entered the negotiations room with Gasperini, if it wasn't Juventus, he would have already signed the contract with Roma. He would have already signed the contract. He's from Turin. He was a former player. He was a former coach. Gasperini, in my opinion, has one more big contract in him. Yeah, like what is he? He's either in his late 60s or early 70s. He's got one more big contract in him. He's got one more big project in him. And I feel like he looks at Juventus and he's like, listen, I want to put Juventus on my resume. I want to have a crack at the Juventus project. I want to manage Juventus. If it was any other club, like with all due respect, if it was Bologna that had come in for him, he would have already signed a deal with Roma. He would have already signed a deal with Roma. I feel like Juventus went into the summer without a plan B. That's what it feels like, without a plan B. And maybe, just maybe, they were given the assurances throughout the season that Conte is coming. But even then, you always have to have a contingency. In life, us normal human beings, you always have to have a contingency. If things don't go to plan, there is a plan B. You don't need to expose the plan B to the whole world, but just keep that plan B in the back of your mind. Juventus' plan B, and I'm hoping they get it over the line, is Gasperini. Okay? But if not, Igor Tudor for another 12 months. I'll be so honest with you guys. Tudor done well, but he didn't do too well to warrant staying at Juventus. Like, I'll be so honest with you guys. In my opinion, from what I've seen of Tudor, from what I'm seeing currently in the Serie A, the managers, what clubs they're going to, who's staying where, the money, the players that clubs are linked with. If Juventus grab Tudor for another 12 months, in my opinion, next season they're fighting for top 4. That's it. They're fighting for top 4. I'm looking at teams in this area and I'm telling myself, the gap is massive. It's massive from a tactical level, from a managerial battle, from a squad battle, like from an experience battle. Like, Tudor has done well, but he hasn't done too well for me to turn around and say, you deserve another year. Juventus, like, I feel like sometimes people forget, and this is why I said when Tudor came in, put the emotions aside, put the sentiment aside. Yes, everybody loves him. He was a former player of Juventus. He's come in, steadied the ship. He's gotten them Champions League football. It was not smooth at all. He's gotten the objective over the line, but it wasn't smooth at all. I don't think he's done that much to warrant another year. And if he was to stay, I look at Juventus and I'm like, you know what? It was option C. It was third choice. Option 1 was Conte. Option 2 was Gasperini. Option 3 was Igor Tudor. Why couldn't you get option 1? Why couldn't you get option 2? Why was there no option 3 besides Igor Tudor? I don't know, guys. I'll be honest. Like, I know when it comes to Tudor, like, it's a sensitive topic. Like, from what I've seen on social media, some want him to stay, some want him to go. I haven't seen enough for him to be given another year. Juventus are already playing catch up. Let's be honest. The gap between Juventus and Inter is massive, especially if Inter win the Champions League. If Simone Inzaghi stays, if they get the capital investment, the gap is massive. Tudor is not closing down that gap. The gap between Juventus and Napoli, the money that they're about to spend, is massive. Tudor is not closing down that gap. Allegri, as much as he stank it out at Juve, that Milan squad is good. If he gets the reinforcements, and Allegri at Milan, it could go one of two ways. It could either shock everybody in a good way, or it could either shock everybody in a bad way and they turn around and say, we told you so. But it's a gamble. You don't know which direction it's heading in. Juventus have to get Gasperini, in my opinion. They have to get Gasperini. With Gasperini, you're guaranteed one. Fair enough, like you wouldn't really label him as a winner. Like he's won a Europa League, but then it's the fashion, the way he done it. Gasperini, for me, in a club with high quality players, with a board that shares the same vision as him, strictly from a coaching perspective, he can coach a team to win a Serie A. He can coach a team to win the Scudetto. And yes, at Atalanta, he had some good players, but let's just say these were players that he developed, that he turned into stars. And a lot of the times, Atalanta would develop a player and then they go on to leave. Okay? He comes to Juventus. He gets the backing. He goes out and signs the correct players. He has a board that shares the same vision as him. Gasperini, as a coach, can coach a team to win the Serie A. How long? I don't know, but his coaching credibility, his coaching prowess stands for itself. He can do it. Even though he hasn't done it, he can do it. You look at the style of football. You look at the fact that they are one team. When it comes to every metric in football, they are the one team that last year competed with Inter. In terms of shots on goal, they competed with Inter. In terms of ball possession, they competed with Inter. Defensively, like he showed, I can compete. The only thing that's missing is I might not have that extra bit of quality that Inter has. And that's the difference between a team competing and not competing, or a team competing up until the final day. But he was still in a Serie A battle. He beat the unbeaten Bayer Leverkusen in the Europa League. Gasperini, for me, as wild as it may sound, he is a coach that I've always said would love to see at Juventus. One, from a footballing standpoint, like he is definitely one guy that would walk in and revolutionize the club. The brand of football, the player development, all of these things together will elevate and grow a club. Like Gasperini is known worldwide for being one of the best coaches. His brand of football is so appealing to young players, to players in their prime. You know, you go to Gasperini, you are developing, you are growing. Okay, it's a fact. We've seen so many players go to Atalanta that weren't good, that got turned into stars. You put him at Juventus and you give him money, or you give him a good sporting director, somebody that can get him the right players to put in the right pieces. He understands this area. Yeah, as much as he hasn't won much, he's still a coach that understands this area. His style of football is very dominant in this area. That's what Juventus need. They need a coach with a style of football that's dominant in this area. A style of football that can allow them to go toe-to-toe with Napoli. That can allow them to go toe-to-toe with Inter. I don't look at Tudor and say his style of football, his managerial ability will allow him to go toe-to-toe with Conte, would allow him to go toe-to-toe with Simone Inzaghi, that would allow him to go toe-to-toe with Vincenzo Italiano. I don't look at Tudor in that sense. I don't. And this isn't even me being harsh. This is just me being honest. Juventus needs to get Gasperini. Like, for me, this isn't even a debate. They need to get Gasperini. If not, I think next season will be tough under Igor Tudor. I'll be so honest. Like, fight, passion, hunger, it can only take you so far. I'll be so honest with you guys. Like, look at it like this. Igor Tudor, his best managerial achievement, what he's done is Marseille. Like, if you were to look at Tudor and say, what is a Tudor team? You'd say Marseille. He had an entire season there. That's where you can judge Tudor fairly, where the sample size is big enough. Now, let's compare Tudor at Marseille to Thiago Motta at Bologna. Who's the more appealing of managers? I feel like there's only one right answer. What Thiago Motta done at Bologna is far more impressive than what Tudor done at Marseille. Now, that's not saying what Tudor done at Marseille isn't impressive. It's still impressive in its own unique way. But what Thiago Motta done at Bologna is more impressive. And there's a reason why he got the job at Juventus. But then what did Thiago Motta show you? A lack of experience, especially a lack of experience in managing a top team where there's standard, there's expectations, there's demands, there's pressure. He sunk. Thiago Motta sunk at Juventus. And I look at Igor Tudor, and yes, the massive difference between them is Igor Tudor, he is a Juventini. He is a former Juventus player. He understands the club. That can only take you so far. I'll be so honest with you guys. That can only take you so far. In the modern game, when you're coming up against coaches They have the tactical acumen. They have the managerial ability. They have the man management. They have the backing from board level. They can sign good players. They understand the league. They know how to win. Why? Because they've won before. I don't look at Tudor and say you're a man that knows how to win because you've won before. For me, Tudor, what he's done at Juventus is impressive, but I feel like he needs to take a step down, maybe like a top 6 team. Go and show what you can build over 2-3 years. Show that growth as a manager. I can't turn around and tell you guys, based on his 9 games at Juventus, he deserves another year. Because, like, I'm just going to put out a prediction from now. If Tudor was to be the Juventus coach next season, they're fighting for top 4. In my opinion, they're fighting for top 4. I still look at Conte and say far superior. I still look at Inzaghi and I say far superior. I could even make a case Allegri with that Milan squad, if they were to back him, far superior. Like, that Milan squad is very, very, very good, especially if they were to retain and keep their best of players. Vincenzo Italiano, Bologna, it's being reported that they are going to spend money. Como, yes, they finished 10th, but you look at the players they're linked with, the players they're looking to sign. You look at the brand of football that Cesc Fabregas plays, it's looking dominant in the Serie A. That team is going to continue to grow. I worry for Juventus if they were to keep Igor Tudor. And like I said, this isn't criticism. This isn't me hating on the guy. I just feel like he hasn't done enough to manage a club the size of Juventus. He hasn't done enough. Yes, he came in on a temporary basis. He got the job done. But I don't feel like we saw too much to turn around and say, you know what? You deserve to stay another year, because I could see the direction you're taking this club in. Like, let's just say the Champions League race, it was a tough watch at times. He got the job over the line, but it was still a tough job. There's managers out there that Juventus should get. Yes, they can't get Conte. They need to be all in for Gasperini. They have to be all in for Gasperini. Yes, he might not, like, I don't think he can out-edge Simone Inzaghi or Antonio Conte, but he will definitely close the gap between Juventus and Inter and Juventus and Napoli. He will definitely close down that gap. And because of that, the managerial circus continues. Who will Gasperini pick? I guess time will tell. Now, if you're new, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys on another one.